That's what you do.
What's up, my loves? It's your girl Diamond. I'm back with an all new episode of The Real Housewives of Potomac, Season 6, Episode 9, High Infidelity. Alright, let's get into it. So, it's silhouettes until we get to the main thing. So, Ashley is changing baby Dylan, and then Karen is talking to Ray about planning for the renewal, and she needs to find another dress. Ray is like, what you mean another dress? Well, I have one, but I'm going to get married in, but I need one to dance in. A girl's got to have her options. I can't be dressed in a full body dress the entire time. I need to move. I need to dance. So I understand that. Then we get to Mia. She's preparing for lunch for her mother tomorrow, and she's nervous because she wants to have a really open, honest conversation about her upbringing. But she doesn't want it to affect her mother's sobriety. Her mother's sobriety is very important to her. So she doesn't want this honest conversation could be a cause of her relapsing. But she's going to take a chance, and she's going to get to it. So then we are back at Wendy's. She's home. Her kids are happy. Eddie was like, we miss you. So you did? Yeah, we're happy to see you. And how was everything? So she said, I've let you in a little bit at what happened to Williamsburg, but I am still in shock that somebody who I looked at as a friend would come to me with this. It's just downright mean. And of course, Eddie is taken aback too, because how is that somebody else who said was your friend will want to be so quick to tell you something like this? I'm not in the streets like that. And why would I even want to put myself in the predicament when we already went through what we went through to even get married? In the last season, we found out that Eddie and Wendy had a hard time getting married because Eddie's family did not approve of Wendy. So he practically became disowned or banished from his family because they didn't approve of their union. His mom has to this day did not go to the wedding, have not seen the grandchildren. So it really does suck, and that could be the nail in the coffin as to why Wendy said they don't understand my reaction, and they never will because they don't have the type of love that I have, and they never will. Majority are talking about Gizelle's volatile relationship with Jamal. So it's like, how can you want to tear down someone else's happiness? Which I can understand, and that is a lot to take on somebody, and that is a lot to do with somebody, to take them to be so happy or be that type of nosy to tell someone about their relationship. If you know it's not true, why are you constantly bringing it up? So then we get to Gizelle. She's in her barn, and she is preparing for the Reasonably Shady podcast with Robin. And so funny how the topic of the conversation is about relationships and cheating. So they went through statistics to talk about there's a 22% chance that men will cheat, but is it a possibility that men will cheat again? So there's a 350% chance that men will cheat again. I feel like it's depending on who the men that you are entering in your life. There's always that 1% or that one pole of men that does not cheat. That probably does one mistake, and that was it. So now she said, had y'all told me this 2 years ago, I wouldn't have been where I'm at today. I'm like, are we surprised? Because Robin's face is like, oh my gosh, she's spilling her tea. So 2 years ago, obviously, she even admitted that her relationship with Jamal was a sham, was not going nowhere. It was a storyline, and there was no romance happening there. So the producers asked, so did you know at the time you were dating Jamal? She said she was joking. I do not believe her. I do not believe the fact that she said she was joking, but then she wanted to go about how she has her own statistics. If you are dealing with a man long enough, he's cheating on you. I think it's just the minute you allow. Because you said seasons ago that the week before you got engaged, I could be wrong, let me know in the comments, that didn't Jamal cheat on you a week before you got married? You married him anyway, thought that would be better, and then you had children, thought that would be better, but then he cheated on you after that. You got divorced, thought that a 10-year span will change him. No, it didn't. It absolutely didn't. But then she wants to say, at the end of the day, I choose me instead of wanting to be in a relationship. I feel like you should have chose you before that. You should have not tried to get back with him again if you knew nothing was going to change.
You're one shot? Oh.
So now, it's all about, now Robin. Robin is now coming up with her tea. She said, my tea is a little different.
Yeah, I got you.
Because she said her and Juan was married. I'm like, wait, Gizelle and Jamal were married too, and he still cheated. So what's the difference? I think she's trying to come to a different demographic or something, or not trying to count their marital woes versus now being divorced for 10 years and now they getting back together, clean slate. Is that what that was? I guess. So she pretty much says, you know, when he cheated, they got divorced. Then they got back together and they rekindled the relationship. But she knew something was going on. She knew that there was something amiss. She knew that he was cheating. But she said she's not going anywhere. I'm like, shocker there, right? And she said she was young and dumb. Now, in the midst of her saying that, Gizelle is over there looking like, girl, what? I have never heard you say this. I've never heard you express this part of your life when it came down to you and Juan. She said, I was young and dumb, and I would cry myself to sleep, and then I pretty much made a vow to myself to never let a man make me cry again. And she said she did put up with things with Juan. She did turn a blind eye, but she feels like now I'm grown, I'm matured, I'm older. So if this shit happens again, I'm breaking it off. What I want to understand is, I think as I was watching this, I felt like, Robin, why don't you see more for yourself? Why? Why don't you see more for yourself to not get back into the same situation, the same cycle with Juan? He cheated on you when you were married with him. You think that he's gonna stay faithful with you now? That you, I honestly don't. And I feel like this is not love. I feel like this is debt. I feel like she's indebted to him, or it's owed somewhere based off of how her family took him in when his parents died. So she feels like, I've gone through thick and thin with him through everything. I'm not finna allow someone else to come in and take all the work that I put in with him. But you guys have not done anything. If this was a relationship that you guys wanted to make better and not make the same mistakes, y'all need intense therapy, intense counseling, and verbal communication with each other as to where things need to be met. Because I don't know where the hell Juan's mind is at when it comes to this relationship. I feel like he's just staying because he needs a place to stay. And he got nowhere to go. And his money he's making from the university is not as much as you making on this Potomac show. For you, I don't know if you need in-house dick for some reason. You need comfortable dick to make you feel better about yourself. I don't know. But I feel like it's really sad that you do not see more for yourself or more for your kids, however, that you feel like you have to stay in a relationship that I don't feel any chemistry between. I don't see any. So then, in the midst of the Reasonably Shady podcast, Gizelle wants to bring up the fact that she had a check-in moment. She likes to do check-ins with her girlfriends. And it came into a conversation about Wendy, but she didn't say a name. She said, I like to check in with my girlfriend. And recently, I had a conversation with a girlfriend about infidelity rumors, and she took it as me being shady. And I'm like, Wendy, Gizelle, you didn't have a check-in moment with Wendy. You didn't. I don't know if the conversations about her body was your check-in, but you never came as a check-in, like, girl, I just want to check in, see how you doing, because this is a whole new side I've never seen. You did not say it that way. You just kept on barking and interrogating her with questions, why her body's doing this, and why I'm seeing your body more than I'm seeing you, and you did your clothes, all that. You did not have the right protocol or the right routine as a friend to check in on your girlfriend and see how she was doing. You did not. So I felt like that was bullshit for you to try to spin the narrative of the conversation that you did not do correctly. Miss me with that. Next. So we get to Candice. She's at home completing her assignments that are coming up due for her master's degree program. And it's also connecting with that is music video week. So she needs, Chris, and Chris has been behind helping her this whole time. So now she told Chris about the trip, on how it was supposed to be a fun trip. It became fun, but then Gizelle being messy about questions on what position does Chris play in the relationship. Is he riding on her coattails, or is he trying to find a hustle for him to do some other things? Now, Candice said in her confessional that, oh wait, I'm skipping ahead. So the fact of, she has so much to say about Candice's relationship, Chris says, listen, you have supported me throughout everything that I need to do. You became a hostess at my restaurant when I didn't have full staff. So some folks don't know about, the understanding, the sacrifices, or the help that we've both done for each other. Candice said in her confessional that Gizelle is scorned by her relationship, and she's projecting on my ebony and ivory magical moment, and she needs to back away. She said, worry about yourself, bitch. We fine. Now, Candice,
Fuck Landon.
I want you to have that same energy with Gizelle in the moment. The same breeze, the same quick tongue that you have with Ashley. I want you to have that with Gizelle too, because you are reading the hell out of everybody in your confessional, but you're not giving it to the people who needs it. So have that same energy every time. That's all I want you to do. So then after that, she calls Ashley being messy. And that she was only there for 4 hours and she went and stirred up shit. And she calls her trash, which I did not like. Chris said, don't call her trash. That's really mean. And how you know she wasn't trying to be, have a different approach? How you know she was there on good intentions? She said, oh, I know she's not. Because when I approached her in the kitchen, she was gleefully happy by saying, that's not how I wanted it to go. Not at all. It flashed back. Ashley, that is not how I wanted it to go. It was just not. Ashley was not happy in that moment, Candice. She looked very sad. She looked very shocked. And she felt bad. And she was the only one that apologized to Wendy for making her feel like if what I said attacked you in your marriage, that's not that wasn't my intention. I am sorry. So Candice is looking for any reason to read Ashley. But for this, no. Ashley was not happy about this whatsoever. But more gonna come later. So Ashley is at a massage therapist with their baby Dylan. Apparently they feel like his mouth is becoming closed because he's not latching onto the bottle. And it's becoming very hard for her to nurse him. So they want to find every other route before going surgical. Because she's feeding him every hour, but it's causing some strain for a long time with Michael. Now, you know what happened last season. When she had to be all about baby Dean and making sure he was okay, she never felt completely satisfied or comfortable in her body to be romantic with Michael. I honestly think she's using this as a way to not be romantic with Michael. I don't think she wants to touch the King of the Goblins no more. So, of course, they have the session with a therapist, but Michael wants to have all of these interview questions as to how long you've been in this, what are your main achievements, how do you go about this? I'm like, Michael, shut up and let her talk. I don't know why you're trying to act like a concerned parent now. I don't know, trying to spin the narrative of what you've been on this character for the entire time, but you can go ahead and be silent and in the corner. Thank you very much. So they're going to try the massages and see where it could be better so they won't go for the surgical route. So they're all talking about their intimacy, how they haven't really been having any. And she's like, I thank you for being patient, but I also want to know where your mind is at for my body is. Now, because she told him not to look when she was delivering baby Dylan. But he said, I wasn't even thinking about your hoo-ha until you said something. So, of course, it's like, I just want to be sure that you still find me attractive right now. So he went on about how, well, you're losing the overweight, so that's good for me. I'm happy that you're getting smaller. I don't think I would have been, the way that you were now. I'm happy you're not pregnant. I'm happy you're not overweight and this and that. I'm like, it's the whole thing about him not happy and not being attracted to her in her overweight state before she's losing the weight, which she has done before, and she's losing it again. But in this moment, she is still having a hard time losing the baby weight, which is hard to do. And with the way that he said it was like he was so concerned about making sure that she got back into her curved side more than accepting the added weight that she has. It made her feel very uncomfortable. It made her feel very uncomfortable. I think she was a little bit hurt by what he said. And I honestly feel like, you really gonna say this to your wife who had 2 kids by you, but she shouldn't have, but she needed, a treasure push. She needed, a treasure chest. She needed a safety net. But at the same point in time, I don't know. The way that he said the whole thing about her body, how he's glad she's not as big as she was, it didn't sit right with me. And she definitely looked like she was about to cry in the car. But she probably not going to say nothing on camera. But yeah, that wasn't, I didn't like that scene. That scene made me uncomfortable. So Robin's in this quick scene with her son talking about how she's been unfulfilled, unmotivated. And her son was like, your life is in trouble or something. She said, yes. You know how I wake you guys up late and then I go back into bed. I don't do nothing until later in the day. That's not good. So I've been thinking about going to a life coach, which is different than therapy. So she calls someone who explains the difference in a life coach. A life coach is supposed to push you into being motivated Was it physically and emotionally, not so much as mentally. But I feel like Robin needs both. She needs someone to help her with her mental and someone help her with her physical, both at the same time. So obviously we're gonna see where that goes because she wants to get her life in order and she wants to do better. She's really taking in what the girl said to her at dinner at Williamsburg. So then we get to Mia. Mia arrival into her mother. It's very awkward because it's a lot of questions that needs to be answered, but don't want to push her too hard. So she, understands. So she wants to understand why there's such a disconnect between them. So it's like small, like conversations about, I need a drink from your grandkids, and said, well, your daughter is like a mini you, but you also carry traits from your father. There are times where I would say, man, she gets on my nerves. She looks like her daddy. I'm like, ooh. The way that she said it, I didn't feel like it was a joke. I think she was really mad that she gets on my nerves. She said like her daddy, and I'm not here for it. So she asked, what did my dad do? She said, well, I don't want to get into it, but I think at some point she broke down and said, your father was the one who introduced me to drugs. And you remember the night you got burned? She said, I don't, but I obviously, see the scars on my body, so yeah. So you tried to cook oatmeal, and it poured off the stove and onto your body, which led to 3rd degree and 2nd degree burns. And she was at work less than 15 minutes before she got a call and say she needs to come back home. And she was like, for what? Your father's there, what's happening? By the time she got there, she found her father in the basement with another woman. I was like, that is... I would never, I leave home to go to work. And I'm thinking that my husband and my daughter's going to have a good day. But now my daughter's over here with burnt arms and legs. And you in the basement with another woman. That's a lot. That's a lot on a person. That's really a lot. So Mia doesn't remember that part because she had blocked the different versions of her father. What she kept remember was the good memories of growing up with her dad, minus the bad memories of when he was under the influence, because those weren't pretty good memories. Those weren't pretty good times.
On that roof.
So she blocked it growing up, and then she never thought to look at him like that anymore. So then, her mom continued and said because of the drugs, it came to the point where she couldn't do it anymore, and he had to go. 3 days later, she couldn't live without him, and she tried to commit suicide. Because in the beginning of the season, I think it was the 2nd episode, Mia expressed that her mom never found love again. Her father was the only man that she ever loved. So the fact that he has such a hold and a pull on her to not want to live is really sad. And it's like I can't say I understand because I get it. When you love someone so much, but then of course you feel like they're introducing you to a bad point in your life, a bad path, you have to try to separate yourself before it gets too deep. You get too consumed with them. But she felt consumed anyway because she loved him. That's really sad. And Mia said, I never resented you as a child growing up. I just wanted my mommy. And she said, I thought I did what I could to do what's best for you. I thought I could. But she says, you know what? I can't change the past, but this is a start of healing in our relationship. And they both agree they need to do this more often. And they should have done this a long time ago.
Damn,
this is a really good scene and a really good moment to have. And I was very happy with that. I really was. So Karen is preparing for her vow renewal, which is in 2.5 months. She got the venue, and she also got the dress that she might have spent over budgeted. She might have over budgeted on the dress, $10,000 worth over budget. But she needs to have another option. So of course she's looking at the same venue that she got her that she booked for the vow renewal, and looking for a dress. And Wendy and Mia arrived to help pick it out. And, they both haven't seen each other since Williamsburg. So this is, an interesting time. And Mia felt like at Williamsburg was not fair. Gizelle definitely should have had a conversation with Wendy about what she heard. And now we see, Wendy telling Mia this is the venue. It's a venue for 40 people. Now, the venue inside was gorgeous. You know what I'm saying? It was so beautiful. She's like, what do you think? Well, the interior is perfect. The outside looks like a warehouse, which it does. But I hope that they'll, have the element of surprise, thinking that we finna have a Vow Renewal in a warehouse. No, it's a very nice venue. It's really pretty. I love it. But when Mia said it, it was funny. So, of course, Karen thanks the girls for being there and help her pick her out some dresses. So Mia let them know that she got an invite from Gizelle for Robin's dinner party. But she noticed that she did not see Karen and Wendy in the group message. Wendy wasn't surprised, and neither was Karen, because Wendy said, I have not seen her since Williamsburg, and I did not expect for her to send me an invitation. Karen said the same thing. Obviously, I got some challenges with her, so this shouldn't surprise me. But Mia said, at the end of the day, it's not about her, it's about Robin. It's her birthday, which is true. But of course, Gizelle would feel like if I'm uncomfortable around you, I think Robin is too. Same brain, conjoined brain. So, of course, the producers asked Gizelle, why didn't you invite Karen and Wendy? She said it's because they did not wish Robin a happy birthday. And since y'all didn't do it, y'all hoes not invited. I'm like, okay, Gizelle. I feel like, why does Gizelle need to have the final word on who can be invited to someone else's event that's not hers? Why does she have that option? I don't like that she has that option. It's really not, it's not cool at all. So since Wendy and Karen have their issues, they're not feeling the type of way. But Karen wants to extend a message to Mia to give to Gizelle. If she could apologize for using the word death, then we can be good. I could squash everything, and I could try to be nice and supportive and cordial to her. Again, the first time we get to the comment about what she said about Ray, when her looks will fade and honestly now he'll be dead and buried, shade. But since Karen does not know that in that same breath of the same episode, the next episode before that, Gizelle was in the kitchen with Robin saying that Ray will be 6 feet under before Karen can afford a house. That joke was not needed. That joke was cold. That joke was wrong. So that's definitely an apology for. So, okay. First note, this is like a broken record of differentiating and separating the pros and cons of these shades. Lord have mercy. So Candice is at dinner with Chris, and they're going about the schedule for the week. It's music video week for her song. I don't know why I'm blanking on the song's name. Was it Drive Back? And of course, it's like boot camp. She has to learn the routine. She has to make sure that the sound is right. They have commissioned a lot of money, paid for a lot of people to get this done, and they needed to get it right. So, in the midst of, going down that schedule, Chris has also booked a couple of classes for the week. And Candice is concerned as to why would you be booked for this when I need you for this? He said, well, that was when I was booked. I can't change it. So what's going to happen if you're not there? He said you have the casting director and you have the choreographer with all cost sheets, all information that you will get, that you receive as well. It's all going to be fine. And then she feels like she can't be the artist without worrying about things are not going to get done. He said, do you not trust me to get things done? She said, I do, but if I feel like you're not there, what's going to happen? So because you're not hovering over me and making sure that I'm doing it right, you think I can't handle it. She said, I'm not saying that. Okay, well, at the end of the day, this is a lot that you requested for him to do because you want him to support you. But since you do not have a management team, your husband is the next best thing. So she's just saying how things can go through the cracks. These can fall in the cracks. And once again, Chris is not supporting me. I feel like he has done all that he can to support you, but they flash back to when he was not on set for the show and that he was not in the studio session for the song. I get that. But at the end of the day, wasn't his kids at the house at the time you were at the studio and on set for the show? So he could not leave his kids by himself. I don't think that would have worked. So at the end of the day, she feels like if something was to fall apart, it's all on me and my career, my reputation, which I can understand. But she feels like he's not going to be present in a lot of the scenes. He said, I'm only going to be not on set for 2 scenes. That's it. But then she said, those are the biggest scenes of the video. He said, listen, at the end of the day, I volunteered to do this shit. And what do you want from me? Drop everything that I need to do and do nothing but sit and make sure you're okay? Then in that case, I need to ask for an allowance. How about that? Sorry, I don't have a job anymore. And I'm waiting on you hand and foot. Candice want him to check his attitude and says, listen, with that being said, I'm going to go play golf this afternoon. Because then we're not about to do this. You're not about to talk to me like I'm crazy. That's what you're not going to do. Not going to check me. So she said, you always want to play fucking golf, and I need you to help prepare me for this shit. He said, listen, I've been between managing you and all of your jobs. I want to spend 5 minutes with myself with something that I want to do so I can have all of my time to focus on you. And she said, I will cuss you the fuck out. That's what Candice said. Words spread everywhere. I will cuss you the fuck out. I'm like, ooh. She said, check your attitude. He said, if you need to find somebody else to do this shit for free. Fuck that shit. I'm like, see, Candice, you can't talk to people like that. Because I felt like he was already preparing her for what's to come and for what's to happen. So he let you know that he had a couple of days being booked for a cooking class. So this wasn't a last minute decision. That would have been fucked up. But Candice, you have to understand that your husband does not want to always be holding your purse all the time. He wants to find his off time too. He deserves some off days as well. So at the end of the day, Chris leaves and goes to the car, and the waitress leaves the check. And Candice said, why am I paying? Because you're the only one with a job. You're the only one that's working. So you have to pay for it. So then, of course, she gets in the car and continues the argument. Why would you say that? I'm really trying not to cuss you out right now. He said it wouldn't be any other time. Anytime wouldn't be any different. So you really be cursing this man like he crazy? But then she said earlier episodes that she does not thank him for being there for him. She does not thank him for supporting her. She does not thank him for getting things handled for her. She just expects it to be done, and that's it. And she says she wants to work on that. This is one of those times you need to work on communicating with your husband and letting him know. I know I don't say thank you all the time, but I really do appreciate you. And of course, you do deserve your off days. I'm just really nervous about how things are going to go because this is a make or break for me. You got to communicate, Candice. You can't just be cussing people out, saying you need to do this for me, and I will cuss you the fuck out. This is why you get checked every time. So then coming to find out, yeah, he said, he asked if it'd be any different. She replies, anytime you have an attitude, listen, left and right. You can't be talking to this man like he's crazy, and you can't chastise him like a child. That doesn't work. So we find out that this was 3 hours later. Oh, this was, after that argument, 3 hours later passed on by, and it's Robin's party. So this was pretty much in the same day. I'm like, ooh, she gonna be pissed off. She gonna be pissed. So all the girls are arriving. I actually did not mind Gizelle's outfit this episode. The leopard tunic she had with the grease leggings and the black heels. She looked cute. I liked it. Mia looked amazing. I scaled with the black and the red lip. Of course, Ashley wore this black and white jumpsuit, but of course she's still, going through the baby weight. But she looks amazing now. But at that point she was still struggling because obviously my daughter is 9 months and I still have not completely gotten rid of my baby weight with her, so it is a struggle. Candice arrives with them heels like she's about to fall over or something, but of course she is still reeling from unresolved feelings from the fight that she had with Chris, and she hates being in a space where there's unresolved issues, and it doesn't make her feel good. It makes her feel pressured. It makes her feel tight-winded and everything, but she hopes she can have a good time. So she all sits down and she noticed that there's some people missing, and she said, we got some people missing. Giselle said, who's missing? Oh, where's Karen and Wendy? Oh, the people who's important here, they're not coming. She's like, why? Because why they need to come? For what? She said, well, I thought you were going to start first with Wendy. I thought you were having a private conversation. She said, I did. I sent her a text message. Let's have a private conversation. But since she did not answer, that's off the table. I'm like, so you gave Wendy a timeline for her to answer a text message? A text message to talk about you and what you said about her husband? Okay. So, Askel wants to say, listen, before our trips to Williamsburg, she spoke really highly of you. And they said, let me tell you something, Askel, and I'm going to be really honest with you. If she spoke highly of me, then she knew I wasn't trying to be shady about her marriage. We don't know that, Gizelle, because everything you do, I don't feel a genuine bone in your body. I don't feel an ounce of heart in that. Not at all. So as Robin gets there, I don't know, that glitter sequin bedazzled shirt she had with the pleather tie shorts, I don't know, it didn't match, along with the troublemaker braids. It didn't match. So Gizelle fills her in as to why we have missing people, and You know, why are we having missing people and why are they here? Why aren't they here? So she feels there's still some unresolved issues with Wendy because even though Wendy apologized, she felt like the apology was condescending and it came from a reporter, not a girlfriend. What I found funny was the fact that you looked at that type of an apology not being genuine, but you have yet to apologize to her for questioning her body, questioning her behavior, and questioning this rumor when you have already put up on game before then, and you felt like her apology to you wasn't right, wasn't genuine. You haven't even apologized to her. So I feel like Wendy shouldn't have apologized to you in the first place, in my opinion. You was not owed an apology for me. So then, of course, Robin wants to say, I don't think I have an issue with Wendy because Gizelle has an issue with her. I had an issue with shit about my relationship. No, Robin, you had an issue with her because you co-signed just as much as Gizelle did about her body, as much as Gizelle said about her behavior, and then it could have been done with the rumors. You have co-signed with Gizelle on that and said your own thing. It wasn't just out of nowhere, and it was based off of what she said about your relationship. No, you have been said your piece this entire time before she read you about your relationship. Keep it a buck. Keep it a buck. It wasn't out of nowhere that she wasn't talking about your relationship. No, that came as you being in the crossfire trying to defend Gizelle when Gizelle can defend herself. That's why. So after all of that, Gizelle wants to ask Ashley, did you add any hot sauce to what she said about Wendy? She said no. I said at the end of the day, don't take this the wrong way, but are you and Eddie reiterating your sex life? Now, versus than what she said last episode, she said, first of all, these rumors, we don't believe them. It's a fabricated article. And we think that your behavior with your body and maybe you and Eddie have opened up your sex life. Could that be, connected to rumors? And, of course, that was no. So, Askell and Candice are going to Ashley and saying that's insinuating that the blogs were true. She said that wasn't a fair question. She said no, it was not. So you're trying to start something and try to say that the questions you're asking is connected to what the rumors are. So okay, back and forth, agree, disagree. That's not true. That's not true. So Candice starts it off and said, listen,
he's still trying to heal.
She wants to call Ashley, this filthy milkmaid, drove 4 hours to ruin her trip and start some mess. And that's why she said she can't deal with her because Ashley is very messy. But Ashley admits, she said, listen, I know I can be messy. I know I can churn the pot and everything. But for this time, I did not do it. Candice don't believes her and said, that hoe did it. She's like, really? You going to call me a hoe? Why are you calling me a hoe? You think that was appropriate? Yes, I think that was appropriate. Why? Because I felt like saying it, which I found very rude of Candice to do. Very rude of her to do. She said, you don't have no legs to stand on. She said, listen, you came in here with your wide body ass. I was like, Lord, no. She lost me when she said that. She lost me because I felt like that was not warranted. That was definitely wrong. Because I have gotten uncomfortable with Candice constantly bringing up Ashley's breast milk and her body. I already can, I could deal with the forehead. I could deal with that. But she keeps on talking about her body as a mother and now her body of what she produces as a mother, which is breast milk for her children. I am not comfortable with Candice going to Ashley so hard like that. It's not comfortable for me. And I get it. Everybody can read each other, but there is a level where you do not go. And I know people going to say Ashley has gone below the level, below the belt at every given turn. But in this case, Ashley was not even featuring Candice in this scene. She didn't even say hi. She said eating, and then she was not talking until Gizelle came at her. That's where just Candice going to chime in and getting her piece together. So now Ashley wants to say, so I'm white now? And now who's now body shaming now? She said, I'm not body shaming you. You body shamed yourself when you walked inside the room. And she's like, wow, really? Yeah, you took off with your breast milk, with your big ass face and your big ass forehead. I was like, that was not necessary. Because I felt like Candice was doing 2 and 2. Couldn't wait to read Ashley because she could not stand Ashley. But also, she is lashing onto Ashley based off of unresolved issues that she had with her husband, Chris, that was not fixed before the dinner came. So I feel like at that point, Candice, you kind of owe Ashley an apology for this. Because that was not necessary. She wasn't even coming at you. She didn't even call you no name. And you called her a whole wide body, big ass face, big ass forehead.
Who you trying to pick up?
All that and then some. I felt like it wasn't necessary and it wasn't cool. But I feel like at some point people are going to say Ashley deserved it. For me, I don't think Ashley deserved all of that angst from Candice. Even though, like I said, she couldn't wait to go at Ashley and all means, because she's giving Ashley more flack about what happened versus than giving Gizelle, because Giselle's the main one that started the shit. But she's not going to give her a pass. She's going to read her in the confessionals, but not going to read her in public. But she'll definitely read Ashley in the confessionals and read Ashley in front of her face every chance she gets. She already did it earlier this episode by calling her trash, which I found not cool. So that's it, y'all. That's all I have for tonight. Please stay tuned for the next episode of The Real Housewives of Potomac, and I'm going to see you guys later. Bye. And don't forget to share and like and comment and subscribe to my channel.